Every year since 1987, OC Inc. has bestowed its Everett C. Parker Award on an individual who personifies the principles and values of our founder. Everett Parker's advocacy was grounded in the civil rights struggles in the 1960s. This year's Parker Award recognizes another civil rights champion, Alex Nogales of the National Hispanic Media Coalition. Alex Nogales was born and raised in a family of migrant farm workers in the border town of Calexico, California. After earning a degree in film and television at UCLA, he began his career as a writer for bicultural children's television and then joined KCBS TV in Los Angeles as a producer. During his 13 years at the station, Alex was deeply involved with public affairs programming, children's shows, and entertainment specials, winning 3 Emmy Awards in the process. Alex left the television industry in 1989, and his subsequent successes as a businessman provided him with the time and resources to pursue his life's passion, the inclusion of more American Latinos in the broadcast industry. Since he was elected president and CEO of the National Hispanic Media Coalition in the late 1990s, Alex and his organization have been dedicated media watchdogs, working to ensure that the coverage of the Hispanic community is fair and that Latino voices get the chance to be heard. Under his leadership, the NHMC has filed more than 50 petitions asking the FCC to deny broadcast licenses for stations that it felt had failed to operate in the public interest. Most recently, it joined with the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation in asking the FCC to take action against the Spanish-language television show José Luis Sin Censura, citing its foul and abusive references to gays and lesbians. Recognizing the importance of audience size in driving business decisions on hiring and programming, Alex also worked to get broadcast license survey techniques modified to help ensure that Latinos were counted accurately in ratings reports. In the past few years, the debate over U.S. immigration policy has grown more and more vitriolic. The National Hispanic Media Coalition has worked to shine a spotlight on the inaccurate and often violent rhetoric that is directed against Latinos in this country, no matter what their immigration status is. Under Alex's presidency, NHMC has also established a Washington presence so that it can become a more effective partner with other media reform advocates. As the United Church of Christ has worked with the NHMC on those issues that are the nexus of media reform and civil rights, the coalition has emerged as a strong leader and valued partner. Thus, we are delighted to be able to honor that work and Alex's leadership today. Please join me in welcoming the recipient of the Everett C. Parker Award for 2011, Alex Nogales.
Thank you. Morning, everyone. Buenos dias. You know, when I was a child in Calexico, California, there were signs as we picked the fruits of season up and down the state of California: cotton, the Imperial Valley, grapes in Delano, up to Hollister and Gilroy for plums, and then back into the Central Valley for tomatoes. So we were gone something like 6 months out of the year from home base in Calexico. And up and down the state of California, there were big signs that used to say, "No Mexicans or dogs allowed." It was very, very common. Latinos, Mexicans, because that's all we knew at that particular time, could not go swimming on the public pools until Fridays because they changed the water on Saturday. It was supposed, of course, that we had some kind of a disease that would infect everybody else. When we went to the movies, we were in the balconies. Actually, those were the best seats, but nobody knew that, so they herded us into the balcony, but it was the stigma of where you were that really hurt. Those kinds of scars don't go away very easily. They stay with you throughout your entire life. I was very fortunate that my dad was a visionary. My mother was a general. You know, he kind of thought about up here in the sky about what we should be doing, going to school, getting an education. Somehow they was going to level the playing field. And then my mother was, you know, the one that pushed everybody. Okay, you want to do this? This is what you're going to have to do, and this is what you're going to have to do. I was taken by ethics in telecommunications. You would think that everybody knew what ethics were and that everyone would exercise ethics as they go through their entire lives, especially in telecommunications. That is not the case. Right now, we're engaged with John and Ken on radio and John and Ken in radio in Los Angeles. These guys have been fanning hatred for their entire career in radio. And of course, the favorite target right now, as it was with Lou Dobbs and many others, are the Latino community, our people in the Latino community who are documented and undocumented. So we're taking them on, just as Everett Parker did years ago, taking on stations that were not doing what they needed to do. We need to do the same thing, and I will be asking all of you to join us. Hate speech is not good for anyone. It's not good for the people that are the recipients or the people that are doing it. Hate crimes against Latinos have risen by 47% in Los Angeles in this past year, and here in Washington, D.C. by 40%. That is not an accident. I tell you that if people talk a certain way, the consequences are hate crimes. We have this issue before the FCC petition of inquiry so that we all know the causes of hate speech and the consequences of hate speech. So in accepting this award, I feel very honored, Everett, because I followed your work over the years, and you stand for everything that we believe in. You stand for everything that is good for everyone. And I have to tell you that we model ourselves after those that lead, and I want to thank you for being there. Even though I come from another ethnic group, I have to tell you, the values that you espouse, the values that you have lived your life with, are the ones that we follow. One of the good things about getting older, and those of you that are my age and a little bit older, is that you stop being afraid. Have you noticed? You stop being afraid, and when you stop being afraid, Joe, you're smiling, you know what I'm talking about? You can do whatever you want to do, what you have to do, and it doesn't matter because you don't care, you know? You don't care what others think of you. So with that, thank you very much, everyone, for this great honor.
You doing another one?
Thank you very much.